Thank you for listening to the John Ed Heidi Show. Super excited to visit with Colleen OShaughnessey, and she is going to be in Sioux Falls for a little thing called Voices Against Cancer. It's coming up on Saturday, July 9th. We're only a few weeks out. Colleen, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited to chat with you, and there's a lot of folks listening right now that probably know your voice from a bunch of amazing projects. One of those would be Sonic the Hedgehog. How long have you been working with that franchise?
Since 2014, so quite a while. Actually, before that, because I was Charmy the Bee before I was Tails. So I was working on the video games first, and then I got to be Tails in 2014.
And what was your first, do you remember your first big project as a voiceover artist, like the one that you're going, wow, I can't believe I got that project?
Oh, gosh. Well, probably my very first show, which was not a big show, but I was just so excited to be on an animated series. It was called The Kids from Room Floor 2. But the first time I got to work at Nickelodeon, maybe I felt like, oh my gosh, I have arrived. I was on Danny Phantom. I got to play jazz, and man, the Nickelodeon building is it's so much fun, and it was a blast. The corporate record and the people I got to work with, it was amazing.
Yeah, that is really, really cool. And you've had a chance to do some really fun projects over the years. When you come to events like the one you'll be at in Sioux Falls, Voices Against Cancer, you're going to be here talking to, the public, people who are big fans. What are the projects that they bring up to you the most? Is there one that this is the one that everybody mentions?
People will come up to my tables and they'll be like, you voiced my childhood. And they're talking about Sora from Digimon, Jazz from Danny Phantom, and then they love Tails. Who couldn't love Tails? He's so darn cute. But those are like the big ones. And then any anime fans, Naruto, people love Ino, they love Konohamaru, and then like, wait a minute, you did both? And I'm like, I did. Isn't that weird? But and they'll look at my stuff and they'll be like, no way, you were on that too? I'm like, yeah, I was.
And you've got quite the range when it comes to voices because, it's not like you're the same voice on every single thing. How do you come up with a new voice for a different character, especially in one where you were just talking about you're two characters in one project?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy too because often, when you'll sometimes your character will be talking to your other character. It's kind of weird. It's such a great question, how I come up with the voices. Oftentimes, you're for sure given a description, but often you'll get a picture. I'm a very visual person, so if I see a picture, that always helps me. And I've always just kind of done it. Like I've always like you look at a baby that can't speak and they have a look on their face, and I would just give them a voice of what I thought it sounded like. So that's what I do. From the description of whatever they give you as far as age range, or sometimes they'll give you they want a certain vocal quality, whether they want rasp or nasal or whatever some of the characteristics may be, and you just kind of throw that all in there and out something comes. It's kind of crazy.
Do you have any characters that you recorded that are like close to your real speaking voice, or do you even, after doing all these characters, do you even remember what your real speaking voice is?
What do I sound like? Who am I? I don't know. There are quite a few. Like I feel like Jazz and Sora are pretty close in my range. I pitch them up a little bit more, so they're a little more useful. Sora obviously younger than Jazz, so you kind of get an age range in your head. It's tricky though too because people sound different at different ages. How do you pinpoint exactly what does 12 sound like versus 14 or 8 or And then the boy voices too. It's a little crazy, but yeah, I think I do definitely use my voice every once in a while. I actually get to play adults sometimes. Weird.
Being an adult, it's fun to play an adult once in a while, right?
Every once in a while. I found my mom voice. Well, I had kids too, so that helps.
That is really, really fun. What was it that first got you interested in becoming a voice actress? How did you decide I am going to do this for a living?
Well, I was doing musical theater. I was at the University of Michigan doing musical theater, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do after I graduated. My last semester there, I was leaving a dance class, and like I said before, I always just give voices to whatever, and something just popped out of my mouth, and the dance instructor came running over, and she's like, was that you? And I said, oh, I'm sorry. They just flipped out. She said, no, you need to do voiceover. And I went, yes, I do. Like, it didn't occur to me that was somebody's job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I want to do. And then there would have been no way to talk me out of it after that. I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing. And I moved to Los Angeles, and here I am 20 plus years later.
Well, I'm glad you did that when you were walking out that day, because it changed your life. That's awesome.
It totally did. And I will forever be grateful to her for saying that to me.
When folks come to Voices Against Cancer, they're going to get a chance to see you. And I'm super excited to see you as well. It's coming up on Saturday, July 9th. Yeah. It's at the Washington Pavilion. Have you been to South Dakota before?
I have not. So I'm very excited to come and see it, and I hear it's beautiful.
It absolutely is, and we will see you on that Saturday. We're going to be there broadcasting and having some fun at the event as well. I look forward to meeting you in person.
Me too.
Colleen, thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me.
And
I
again,
can't wait to meet you guys.
she is one of the many amazing voice actors and actresses who are going to be in Sioux Falls for an event called Voices Against Cancer. You can click and get all the information. You can buy tickets. You can learn who's going to be there. You can just be like super informed if you go to this website. It's voicesagainstcancer.org.